Yeah, great to get a win up here again. It's always awesome to be up in Cleveland. It was a long day waiting around, watching all the other teams play, and then with the overtime game, us starting late. So, getting off to a great start in the first half. A lot of it having to do with Keys and him having a great first half, and obviously Jalen played well, but we had a lot of guys play well. Rico with a double-double. Game got tight, but give Western Michigan a lot of credit. They have good players and competed really hard, but proud of our guys for getting a win here. It's always hard to win these games in the conference tournament, and it takes a 40-minute effort. And at the end, when we needed to get a few stops, I think we did, and we get to play again, and it's an awesome feeling to get to play another game together.
Jalen, what was the message amongst you guys every time Western Michigan really cut it close, the 4 or 3 points and made all those runs?
Just stay together. I think they played well in transition tonight, and that was we emphasized that before the game, getting back in transition. So anytime we would come back to the huddle, we just try to stay together and just get our defense right, because we know once our defense right, we can beat anybody.
Marquis, at what point in that first half did you realize that you were in rhythm?
Before the game started. I do a lot of mental preparation before the game starts, so I go in there. I think every shot gonna go in, so yeah.
One question, Blake.
What was talked about, I guess, towards the end with them, avoiding any kind of comeback or scare from the Broncos, because they're really coming back hard. What went through you guys what was said amongst you guys to keep that from happening?
At halftime, Jalen likes to write on the board like what we need to focus on, and a couple of those things was 20 more minutes and just playing defense and stopping in transition. So whenever they would go on runs, we'd all come together, as any good team would do. When they go on their runs, and we just said we got to stop the bleeding, and the best we do that is just to get stops and get rebounds.
More questions for Anthony?
And then for you, I was going to ask, just coming into Kent State, not starting as much as you have prior, but how do you stay ready for games like this?
Like I said, a lot of mental preparation. You never know when your number's going to be called, and I feel like I can go in there and impact the game however way I want to. And I have a lot of good pieces around me, like Jalen, Von Cameron, got all-team conference players. So we all got a lot of confidence, and that's we got to stay like that.
Do you think going into this game you had a bit of a different mindset than your other games?
For sure. It's win or go home right now. I'm a senior, so I don't have a next year. He doesn't have a next year. So all the seniors, we have a completely different mindset. Kent State's a March team, so we got to keep that thing rolling.
Any more questions for these two coaches?
Real quick, it's you're getting so amped up for a tournament game, but when things get delayed like that, I know you guys have planned things out to the minute. What did you guys do when you found out there was a delay? Did you kind of change your routine at all, or did you have to how did you kill the time, I guess?
They play a lot of loud music. That's what they do. I play different music. I got my headphones in.
What'd you do?
We were just waiting to play. We couldn't go out there until they said we could, so the same stuff. Just wait, go out and play, and win.
Just gave me more time to lock in, I guess. That's all.
Hey, Rob, what makes Western Michigan so tough to break down? Because some nights they don't play like their record indicates.
Well, I think their record is a little skewed because Chauncey Willis was out for almost the entire non-conference. So, and he was second team all conference. If he had played the entire season, he would have been a first team all conference player without question. In my opinion, again, I only have one vote, my own. I voted him as a first team all conference player. And to me, he's one of the best players in the league for sure. Tonight, he had maybe his worst game of the year. Maybe, I don't know. And I give our guys a lot of credit, Sion and Jamal, and our bigs, Rico and Claron, for doing a great job really bottling him up. And even with that, he had 7 assists and 6 rebounds and 12 points. But his shooting was, his percentages were low. But the reason their record is what it is strictly, in my opinion, because he was out for the majority of the non-conference. They were 9-9 in league. That's about 500. That is 500. My math isn't great, but 9-9 is 500. So they were a 500 team with him. And I'm sure had he played the entire non-conference, they probably would have been even better than that, because it takes a little while. When your point guard isn't playing in most of the non-conference, probably takes a little while to get adjusted to him playing, because he's ball dominant. So, he's an elite player. So I think that's a reason their record is what it is overall.
Coach, how do you keep your guys from caving when Western Michigan?
That's a heck of a question. That's not me. That's these guys. That's having leadership and having toughness and having been through a lot of battles throughout the year. I think that's what going through the adversity that the team has gone through during different times during the season has gotten us to the point where we are able to withstand what we withstood tonight. If this game were in January, we would have lost the game, in my opinion. Again, I don't know, but the team in January was losing games like this. We would have a lead, or adversity would strike in a game, and we would sort of splinter. We had lost 4 straight home games in conference to start the league. We lost Ball State, Western, Miami, Akron, and Akron we were completely non-competitive in the game. So at some point after that game, something changed, and we've won a lot of close games since that point. We've overcome some obstacles throughout games, and that to me, I mean, we made some changes to the lineup. We had an injury that shrunk the rotation a little bit, which I'm sure in a weird way maybe helped guys knowing that they're going to play some more and not have to look over their shoulder as much. But at the end of the day, players play. I call out plays, and I try to motivate, I guess, as best I can. But it's about the guys in the locker room, and those guys have really sort of circled the wagons. There was a point in time that I would have said there's a good chance we wouldn't be here, even playing here, or at least wondering if we would play here. And now we get to play on Friday night. So we're 22-10, and we get an opportunity to play on Friday night, which is awesome. And I get to talk to you guys about, Jalen and Keese. And again, for me, I get to share stories about these two guys. Like Jalen came back to Kent as a walk-on after leaving. He left. He went in the transfer portal and decided that he wanted to leave after last season. And then in August, and when he left, I brought Marquis in because we needed some scoring. And Marquis was a really good scorer at his previous school at Presbyterian. And when Jalen asked me to come back, unsolicited, Marquis came into, the word, I guess, had filtered amongst the players that Jalen wanted to come back. And Marquis came into my office unsolicited and said, because I wasn't sure if I was going to have him back because I brought a roster in, and unsolicited came into my office and said, "Hey, coach, if you think he can help our team, I want him back on the team." Like, that doesn't happen every place or everywhere. And you know what? If I'm not sitting here, I don't get to share that with you guys, and people don't know that. So I get to tell you that, and that tells you a little bit about Marquise's character. So those are the stories that get told in March, and they only get told if we get to play up here. And it's great for me to get an opportunity to share that with you all. And that's the beauty of winning in this time of the year, and the beauty of playing this time of the year. So hopefully we can do it again and continue to have these stories. So, we'll see. Hopefully we can play well again tomorrow.
What are your opinions and overall thoughts of Marquis's improvement and overall performance during this game?
Yeah, he was great today. Outside of that dunk, which I wanted to kill him. I almost did. Yeah. I said even when you play great, you found a way for me to still be mad at you after the game. But he's a really good player, and he's been a really good player. He's a over 1,000-point scorer in college, and he's had to individually sacrifice a lot coming here. He's always wanted to win. 22 wins here this year, I think matches. If you look at his career, it's maybe double what he's done at his previous school, and it's a lot harder. There's a saying that every bad team has a leading scorer, right? Like everybody has a leading scorer. So it's hard to produce on a good team. It's a lot harder to produce on a good team than it is on a bad team, because somebody has to still score the ball. He's been able to find ways to impact our team and still help our team win. And, I wish he had another year, just because as the years gone on, he's figured out how to produce and impact winning, which is great. And now, he's doing it on a big stage for our program and for himself. And he's a local guy. He's from Northeast Ohio. So this, I'm sure, is extra meaningful for him to be able to do it here, in this facility and in this arena and in this setting.
Coach, can you talk about Von Cameron Davis? Just 8 minutes in the first half, 15 total. What was going on with him?
Yeah, I actually told the team that he should be fresh as a daisy tomorrow, because he barely played, right? Like everybody else has to get extra treatment and extra this and extra that. He should be in a great spot for tomorrow. So, picked up 2 fouls. He had a rough night, and again, I guess that's the beauty of the team, is that we have a first team all conference player who played 14 minutes tonight and didn't make a field goal, and we were still able to win in the conference tournament. So that speaks towards the depth of our roster, and tells you that we have a lot of guys that can still help you when your best player has a rough night. So I would expect that he'll play a lot better tomorrow. Some of that, I'm sure, give Western Michigan some credit. Donovan Williams has bothered him. I'm sure in his mind it has nothing to do with Donovan Williams, but Donovan Williams has bothered him in the 3 games that we've played against them for whatever reason. Hopefully tomorrow will be a lot different for him, for Vaughn, because we're going to need him to play well. Like we can't go, maybe we were able to go tonight without him playing great, but we certainly can't go 3 games without him playing like the all-conference player that he is. So he owes us one. That's what I'll tell him tonight. He owes the team one tomorrow by needing him to play well and play meaningful and big minutes for us. Yeah.
Coach, what do you think your biggest challenges are going to be against Miami?
Well, Miami's such a good offensive team, and they're so good in transition and how well they shoot the ball. When we played them most recently, especially in the first half of that game, and I'll watch that again tonight, but we really struggled with our matchups in transition, and they shot, I think in the first half, they maybe made 7 threes against us. So we're going to have to do a really good job limiting their 3-point shooting. And then late in the game, we had a lead. I think it was 7 with 2 or 2.5 minutes to go. and we couldn't get stops. Our defense really sort of failed us late in that game. So we'll watch the film. Coach Fleming, John Fleming, has the scout, and he's always does a great job and is really, really thorough with the scouting report. Our guys do a good job sort of digesting that. We'll head over. We have a gym that we go to all the time when we're up here tomorrow for, sort of our scouting and our walkthrough and all that stuff. So again, it's the same deal. Like whenever we get to go on Friday, we feel good because it means we're still playing. So we'll go over there tomorrow afternoon, get a little walkthrough and do what we need to do to get ourselves prepped. And then, go play as hard as we can tomorrow night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, guys.